Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, this is one of the hardest videos I will ever have to do as an Arsenal fan. But I think we need to talk about Thomas Partey. We need to really get to the bottom of this. Probably we can't because we do not have a lot of official information to work with. But now, according to the Times, Arsenal have dropped Thomas Partey out of the squad that will be traveling or that has traveled to the US for the US tour. We will play a couple of games in the US, including Orlando City and also a game against Everton. Thomas Partey has been dropped for those games. He will not be traveling with the team to US. He did not travel with the team to Germany. Now, the question, lads, here is, although we do not want to, because we do not have any evidence and we do not want to jump onto any conclusions, but we need to ask questions. You cannot omit a player suddenly. A player cannot be omitted from your preseason tours suddenly. If it is the like of what happened with Cristiano Ronaldo and Man United, you understand, because Ronaldo has told Man United, look, I want to move on, I want to go, I don't want to be part of the project anymore. So if you can find a club that wants to buy me, it's absolutely fine. I want to go. And Ronaldo is not training and is missing preseason tours with Man United. He's actually missing all of them. You understand that? You feel well, the player is rebelling because he wants to go. With Thomas Partey, this is a very, very different scenario. We are talking about a player that has been the most important in that Arsenal midfield. We are also talking about a player that is the very most important player in the Arsenal setup. Because when you look at positional play, when you look at the system we are playing, where we are using a single pivot, Thomas Partey, at the best of that midfield, is the most important player in Arsenal, defensively and also offensive-wise. So there is no way Arsenal are going to have a simple dispute or a simple spat with Thomas Partey, and it won't be resolved as quickly as possible. The fact that Thomas Partey is no longer training with the rest of the team, the fact that Thomas Partey is not traveling with the rest of the team to Germany, to US now, it means something. There is something going on behind the scenes, and for me, that is what I want to react to. Now, do not get me wrong. I'm not trying to incriminate Thomas Partey here because we do not have any evidence. And the only piece of evidence we can work with, or the only official information we can work with at the moment, is the statement produced by the police and echoed by Sky Sports and BBC a couple of weeks ago, that a Premier League player had been arrested and put into custody for a couple of charges, including rape. Now, according to the police, the player was again rearrested on, given the fact that multiple charges had been fronted while the player was in custody. That is what we understand. The player was arrested in North London, in Barnet, and we also understand that the player is a renowned football international who is going to be playing in the World Cup in November for his country. Now, to be sure, we do not understand. I personally do not know how Thomas Partey came into the people's heads and how the picture was painted. But when you think about all the evidence that has put around and together, there is no way you can write off Thomas Partey. If we go by the description, a player in his late 20s, Thomas Partey is 29, a renowned international player in the Premier League. I think Thomas Partey is renowned. Was going to represent his country in the World Cup in November, December. Ghana did qualify. So I'm not really saying here, because I'm not really saying, look, the description fits Thomas Partey. That's why I said this is one of the hardest videos I could ever do. But what I'm trying to say is that we cannot now 100% say Thomas Partey is not one of the suspects. He definitely is. But a couple of other players that fit the description. I think Harry Kane is around 28, 29, so he fits the description. I think a couple of other players, fit this description as well. Players playing for North London sides, and players living in North London, and players playing for clubs in London. But where Thomas Partey comes out and stands out is the fact that Thomas Partey is being treated differently, or differently actually, as compared to the other players that you think fit the profile of the aforementioned person. That is where Thomas Partey, that is where it goes scary, and where it doesn't look so good for Thomas Partey. Because when you look at the likes of Harry Kane, there is nothing around him. When you look at Granit Xhaka, there is nothing around him. He appeared in the pictures last time when Arsenal was announcing internationals coming back. He appeared in the pictures. All the rumors circulating around Thomas Partey, he arrived at London Colney, he did this. That is the confirmation bias artwork of Arsenal fans. We are spreading it that the player is training, that the player is at London Colney. But the truth is, Arsenal is releasing pictures, and those pictures do not show anywhere or any sort Thomas Partey training with the side. It's not shown anywhere. What we are seeing is other players, not Thomas Partey. And even in our recent games, Thomas Partey is not there. So unless Arsenal can't come out and tell us why is this guy not part of why is not part of our Germany camp, because the manager had a press conference, and it was very, very, for me it was very, very key to understand. But the moment that topic is not mentioned, and journalists don't even ask about it, because let me tell you something. If Thomas Partey, the magnitude of importance Thomas Partey commands in that Arsenal dressing room and and on the pitch as well, the moment Thomas Partey does not play, whether it is a small rat championship, whether it is a Mickey Mouse friendly game, reporters will ask. Because he's a player that we understand has fitness issues. He's a player that we understand has fitness problems. Arsenal could have been the quicker, because listen, this is a very, very tight situation, right? So Arsenal, if he had picked up an injury, Arsenal would have been the quickest to come out and shout, he has an injury, he will be back very soon, just like Charles Watts did when he was fully fit. The moment he was fully fit, Charles Watts, one of the journalists that I believe is very, very close to Arsenal, came out and said, look, he's fully fit. The king is back. Kieran Tierney is also back as well, right? Ever since both of them made their return, Thomas Partey is 100% off the grid. He's gone black. Right? Like, he's just gone black. He's nowhere to be seen. And Kieran Tierney is happening. I want us to think about this in the perspective of Kieran Tierney, right? Kieran Tierney picks up an injury long term. Granted, Thomas Partey picks up an injury long term. Both of them come back, and their arrivals are announced publicly. Kieran Tierney picks up a second injury, and it is announced, and in the press conference, the manager says, "Oh no, do not worry. He's an important player for us, and it's just we just took him off because that is the amount of time we wanted him to play. But we know he's picked up a slight knock, and the next day, it's all over the media that he's picked up a slight knock." For Thomas Partey, there is no information. There is nothing. He's absolutely disappeared. Now, I was one of the persons that were really, really eager to make sure that Thomas Partey, is okay. And you remember the first video I published on this. I said Thomas Partey is okay and he's in Germany, following the information from Chris Whitley. And Chris Whitley came out and said he's not in Germany. He's in London. Now the Times are saying he has not traveled with Arsenal. He remains at the London Colney, among other players that will not travel, right? Now, the other player that has not traveled is Bernard Leno. And I will tell you that Leno is very close to joining Fulham. That is one of the reasons as to why he has not traveled. And we believe by the time the team comes back from the US tour, there are high chances that Bernard Leno will be an Arsenal player no more. Florian Balogun, I do not understand whether there is anything to do with the transfer and why he has not traveled, but that is not troublesome. Why is Thomas Partey not traveling? Are we selling him? Are we activating a transfer for him? The truth is, no, we are not. He's not in any transfer saga and he's not in any transfer rumor. So that is where it becomes scary. And the club is in a very difficult situation here because there is no way you can come out. And I mean, how do you frame the information? The better thing to do is absolute silence. And I credit Arsenal for that because at times silence speaks louder. Yeah, at times silence speaks louder. But I think the whole story now for me has been uncovered. There is nothing to hide. There are stories that the club of the Premier League player is being put under immense pressure by women activists. I'm not saying Arsenal. I'm saying according to reports, the club of the Premier League player is being put under immense pressure by women activists to drop the story. I mean, to drop the player, to suspend the player. Now, if that happens, it's gonna be even worse. It's gonna be worse than that. But all in all here, lads, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it very, very strongly. Arsenal need to prepare. It's a signal that the worst can come to the worst. It can go away. It can fly away. Like we all want it to fly away, and we want it to go below the bridge. We want it to pass under the bridge, and nobody notices that it even passed. But we need to prepare. This is a time when I think Arsenal need to be thinking whether Thomas Partey is 100% okay or not. We need to find a number 6. We need to find a number 6, a very, very good one. A very, very good one. Because we are still fighting with the fitness issues as well. We're still fighting with the fitness issues. And now the player has gone black. That is where you cannot... And, it was always going to stay very, 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 very calm. Until when you cannot explain the absence of the player. And that is what has happened. We cannot explain the absence of the player. Why he's not training, why he's not on the tour. There is no reason to explain. There is nothing. And I know now that they know there is nothing to do, right? But I love the professionalism. I'll commend them for that. I think they've done well in terms of protecting the player and also, shielding him. For me, if there was any other reason, a reason that is acceptable, it would have been very, very easy for them to come out and shout, because we know Arsenal with PR. They can sell you Thomas Partey coming back from injury like as if it's another signing. They've done it before. But the moment they cannot explain the disappearance of their most important player, of their key player, then you understand. It's black. It's looking black. It's not looking very, very good for me. Yeah, it's not looking very good. But anyway, we wait, right? We wait. According to the Premier League, according to the police, actually, the player was bailed until August. So let's wait until August and see what's going to happen. It's a couple of days away. And we'll see what's going to happen from on that front. But what happens, where Arsenal go from there, is now very, very... I mean, I want to see what's going to happen in the next 48 hours. Now, Arsenal have traveled. No Thomas Partey. No explanation. The player's gone black. No pictures of him anywhere. It's interesting. It's interesting because whenever Arsenal train, the big guns are always in the pictures. Go back and watch and look at the pictures pictured in training. And look at the videos shot in training. Thomas Partey always everywhere because he's a big star at Arsenal. But that's it. He's not trained. He's not traveled with us to the UK, to the USA. He's not. No explanations for now.